Alright, what is up, YouTube? I'm back. It's been a long while, I know. I've just been really busy, and to be quite honest, I just haven't had any really great ideas of videos that I felt I could make that haven't been made and that I could actually do justice to. Uh, I've been really busy, like I said. Haven't really been gaming loads except for two games. I think a lot of people just kind of put to the side, and I don't think too many people bought. These are both somewhat older games, which, you know what, that's fine sometimes. If you missed it, you can go back, you can get it for cheap, so much the better. Um, Two games, and I'm going to show you on Xbox because that's where I got them, because that's where they were dirt cheap. For those of you that aren't in the know, here in Canada, a brand new video game is $79.99 plus tax. Call it 80 bucks plus tax. Uh, I got both of these games for the same price as one brand new game. So I paid $40 each for these two games. One I'm not going to be showing you today. The first one is Watch Dogs 2. Uh, I didn't pick this up originally because I played through Watch Dogs 1. I bought Watch Dogs 1 when it first came out. I love GTA kind of games. And I finished Watch Dogs 1. It wasn't very good. That's all you need to say about it. It was a GTA clone. The city just appeared to be empty and dead. The missions were very uninspired. It just quickly devolved into I'm doing something. Oh no, I'm getting chased. Oh, I'm gonna trigger something with my magical hacking powers and it's gonna stop people chasing me. And I get away and rinse repeat. So when Watch Dogs 2 came out, I kind of ignored it. For those that don't know, Watch Dogs 2 is a game by Ubisoft. Pretty sure it's Ubisoft Montreal. I don't remember what I went to buy the day that Watch Dogs 2 came out, but I was in the local game shop that day. And they had people from Ubisoft there and asking everyone in line, oh, are you here to pick up Watch Dogs 2? And I'd say half the people were like, no. I picked this up because I saw some reviews that made me think that it was going to be a lot better than Watch Dogs 1, and to be blunt, because EB Games sent me an email saying, hey, Watch Dogs 2 on sale, $39.99. Well, hell, for $39.99, sure, let's go. I didn't know what to expect. I was greatly hoping it was going to be better than Watch Dogs 1. It is. It is a lot better than Watch Dogs 1. I'm not going to show you guys the game right now. If you guys want me to do a separate video, I will. Let's just say it is a GTA clone with hacking, but this time they did it right. The missions are a lot better. It had a lot of funny parts that did actually make me laugh out loud. The characters were all great. I loved all the characters. Overall, it was a great story. And it was just a fun game. I finished it, and I don't know, I can't tell you guys how long it took me to play, but it took me a while, and I stuck with it, and it kept me coming back. And that's one thing that I find is missing nowadays. And maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just getting old, maybe games are just actually getting bad, maybe it's a bit of a mix of both, but I find most games don't get me hooked and don't get me wanting to come back and keep playing. Now, Watch Dogs 2, I will say, and if you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, just skip ahead about 30 seconds, okay? Okay, so spoilers are going to begin here. Now, you play as Marcus. He's a black character. I don't care about that. I know a lot of people were kind of not too happy with the fact they made the main character black when the game came out, I seem to remember. If that really makes that big of a difference to you, you should probably take a look in the mirror because you're probably a racist piece of shit. You play Marcus, and you meet a crew of your hacker buddies. You got Wrench, which is the guy you've probably seen in videos and so forth, is the punk rock kind of guy. That's wearing a mask, and the streaming works fantastic, as you can see. He wears a mask. You've got Satara, which is kind of a Middle Eastern girl, which kind of sexist remark, but they made her in charge. Sexist on their part, not on mine. They made her like in charge of. She's the one that does all the art. You got Josh, which is kind of like the typical super geeky computer guy that's kind of got Asperger's. And then, which is one of the negatives that I didn't particularly like. Part I didn't like is you've got another black guy who's in your crew, which is fine. But he's always he's there. He's in the background. He doesn't really talk loads. It's to the point where I don't even remember his name. Because to be honest with you guys, you do one mission with him, and that's it. And then here's the spoiler, okay? So you do that one mission with him, and then something happens, and he ends up dying. Your character gets all like super angry about it, goes on like a big vengeance side mission line of missions. And I don't find it was earned because he's the one character they didn't bother developing, didn't bother making you interact with much. You do missions with Wrench, you do missions with Sitara, you talk to Josh every time you're in your headquarters. But the other guy, to the point where I don't even remember his name, and you're supposed to be so angry about him dying, and anyway, that's my main negative comment about Watch Dogs 2. The other thing I didn't really like is the aiming. I was about to return the game because the aiming on controller is horrible. To the point where the only way I could actually get through and enjoy the game is I turn the auto aim assists and everything to the max. And all I do is I get my cursor as close to an enemy as possible, pull the aiming trigger and shoot right away because it would just zip to the enemy and then I could get a couple of shots on them if they weren't moving. But otherwise, great game. I highly suggest it, especially if you can get it for $30, $40. The other game is Prey. We're just going to go over this super quick. Prey is a game that reminded me a lot of... Intro will remind you a lot of Half-Life 2. Afterwards, you will start getting a lot of vibes of an older game series. And to me, they could have called this something else and it would have probably sold a lot more copies. Prey, for those that don't know, was a game on, I think, Xbox 360. It was a while ago. It wasn't very good. They had a couple of decent ideas. I didn't even remember this was in it until one of my friends reminded me, but it was one of those games where Portal had come out and you had portal gun and kind of portal abilities in Prey. It kind of went away. I think the company doesn't exist. It got bought up in that big company shuffle around rebuy thing that happened a few years ago. If you guys remember, like 2 or 3 E3s ago, they were talking about bringing back Prey, and you were going to be like a international space bounty hunter kind of guy, or intergalactic, not international. This has nothing to do with either of those, which is why, again, had they just not named this Prey, I think it would have done a lot better. Now, I hinted at this. What this is actually super reminiscent. This is more of a spiritual successor to the Shock games. So System Shock for you old people like me, BioShock for you younger guys. It's very reminiscent of that. So let's just go in. I'm a bit further in. I've got a bit more abilities and stuff. I'm not going to show you spoilers. I'm just going to talk about what's going on and what I think of it. So it is a game that will reward you tremendously for exploration. You don't have to if that's not your jam. You don't have to. But if you do, you will find a lot of, like here. You didn't have to come in here and press this button, but I just got 2 MP grenades, a recycler grenade, and a suit upgrade. Or suit repair, I should say. So here's your inventory. You can see all around there is locked portions. You have to get upgrades to expand your inventory. So we're just going to go ahead and use that to get some suit integrity, which is basically your shields. Let's just go through the menu quickly for you guys. So you've got your objectives. Objectives, you can activate, deactivate them. All that does is it'll show you the icon of where you have to go or not. So right now I'm trying to do these 2 side quests, which are in a similar location. I didn't want to get confused as to where I was going, so I only activated those two. Those are the only two things I'll see. On the map, you'll see the map. This is what I have found. And then level 1 and 2, you can see there my objective currently is on level 2. There's nothing left on level 1 for me. If you go over here, you've got the full map of the entire station. So all these are different areas. Basically, if you're going between these, you're going to be hitting a loading screen. Speaking of loading screens, that is my biggest negative about this game, is the loading, on consoles anyway, is horrible. Horrible. I'm not even kidding. It takes about, give or take, 40 seconds to a minute to do the load. What's even worse is you will get a screen with a loading bar and it's finally full after like about 40 seconds. Yay, I'm done loading. No. Now you get a black screen with a little loading icon in the corner, and eventually it goes, press A to like continue playing. That's horrible. I'm hoping it's a lot better on PC. If you guys can get this on PC for cheap, go that route. I'm sure it's a lot better. It'll make aiming with a mouse a lot better. I just got this on Xbox because it was $40 and on PC. Oh, okay. My Xbox is 2 rooms over, so I'm not sure how it heard anything. But anyway, yeah, I got this on Xbox because it was $40. Stop listening. Okay. The mysteries of the Xbox Connect. So again, this is my inventory. This is what I have currently. So ammo for a pistol, anti-rads, junk. You find junk. I'll go into that later. Stun pistol, which you can find hidden right at the start of the game if you know where to look. I'm not going to spoil it. Medkits, a crossbow, a Nerf crossbow basically that you can use to shoot buttons or distract enemies. A glue cannon, which does exactly what it says, fires kind of glue and incapacitates enemies for a short period. Null wave transmitter, which will disable psi powers. Normal pistol. Recycler charges, which are the best thing ever. You throw one of these, anything in its vicinity that can be recycled, including enemies, will get sucked into it and turned into materials you can use to build stuff. So very tough enemies, glue cannon, and then just chuck a recycler charge at them. Shotgun, which I had to find, but I'm told if you had pre-ordered the game, you get this from the start for free. Shotgun ammo, some spare parts, and the wrench that you will find right at the start, which is one of your first weapons. Moving on, you have your suit with chipsets that you can find and install. Again, now most of these are going to be locked. You upgrade your suit to get more slots and so forth. These are basically just bonuses. So right now I've got something that will reduce electric damage to me. I have something that will reduce damage if I'm sliding. I just have it equipped because I have 4 slots, and I've only got 3. And something that will reduce radiation damage to me. Next, later on in the game, you find a scope, which you use to scan enemies, and that also has chipsets. So I've got 2 chips. I've got one that allows me to detect mimics. So mimics are the main starting off enemies. They're very small, they're fast, and they can transform themselves into objects in the environment. With this and the scope, I can see them even if they are a coffee cup. Speed scan just increases the speed of the scan, because what you can also do with the scope is scan enemies to reveal stuff. As soon as I can, I'm going to equip this, but I don't have a slot, so basically it sounds like if I kill an enemy, it'll make the other one scared and run away. Next is your skill tree, basically. I'm just going to move my camera very quick to give you guys a better look here. Skill tree. Now, at the start, you'll have none of this, and then you'll quickly unlock the first 3 in blue up here. So scientist, engineer, and security. And then very much later on, you will start unlocking the psi abilities. These you can think of as more of the Bioshock abilities, to the fact where you even have electrostatic burst, which is going to be just electrocute people. Um, it's kind of hinted that if you start taking the purple ones down here, it's going to kind of turn you into one of the enemies. I don't know for sure, this is just what I got from it. So I am thinking, and this is pure speculation on my part, I have not snuck peeked ahead or whatever you want to call it. I suspect that if you start putting too many points into this, it's going to give you a quote unquote bad ending, but I don't even know if there's multiple endings. I'm not spoiling this game for myself at all. So these you can see here, some of them are revealed and it tells me what it is. Some of them are still blocked out and say unknown ability. You figure and get these, well, get access to these, I should say, by scanning the enemies. Whereas the blue ones you just fully have. So we're just going to go over these super quick. Scientist is going to be stuff like boost the effectiveness of medkits, boost the effectiveness of food, the ability to get living material out of the enemies you kill. I don't know why it's doing this. Stop listening. Okay, apparently this mic is still working. Hacking 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll find stuff that if you have the appropriate level of hacking, you can hack. It's a mini game. It's kind of a crappy mini game, but it does the purpose. You have a cursor, you have to move around and get to a spot, and it's kind of very bouncy and floaty, which makes it hard. And then you get into the psi aptitudes, because you do have some psi aptitudes that are in here in the blue stuff as well, which will then unlock if increases the effectiveness of the hypos, increases your pool, your mana pool basically, and also adds the scope slots for the chipsets. Engineer, which is going to be how much you can lift, which again is going to give you shortcuts and access to secrets. If you can lift the heaviest stuff, you can sometimes unblock doors. These are also used if doors are jammed. You can force them open if you have the appropriate skill. Repair 2 and 3. Can you repair robots, turrets, stuff like that? Gunsmith, how much you can upgrade your normal firearms. Your suit, so how much inventory you have, how many chipset slots you have in your suit. That's going to be one that you're probably going to want to upgrade. Dismantle, the ability to dismantle stuff on the fly. Recycle, we're going to get into that in a second, but it gives me 20% extra materials when I recycle stuff. Lab Tech, which is going to be the non-firearm weapons that you can upgrade, and reduces the amount of stamina for wrench. I don't really use the wrench too much, so I didn't put too much into that. Security, which is going to be how much damage you do with firearms. Your conditioning, which is then split up into how much health you have, how much stamina, and how fast you move. The one and only blue kind of free psi ability. Combat focus, it slows down time and costs you less stamina. The bigger you buff it, the longer it lasts, the more blah 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 blah. Stealth, which is then also split into how much stealthy you are and then how much damage you do if you hit enemies while you're sneaking. The energy things are going to be stuff like kinetic blast, shock, and flame. Morph is going to be your ability to teleport, which also seems to then split the ability for you to transform yourself into like a coffee cup so that enemies bypass you. And then the last one is stuff like telepathy, which I haven't actually even read because, like I said, I'm not even going to go into these purple ones in this playthrough anyway. Remote manipulation, backlash, and this one is completely hidden. Next up, status screen. So my suit is damaged. I took some anti-rads and I repaired my suit. Data. Okay. Data. It's going to be your stats, so what I've done in this game, all the notes you found, all the emails you found, all the audio logs you found, key cards, passwords, key codes you found, plans. These are the plans for the fabricator. We'll get into that in just a second. And then research. Research, if you have the scope, which I do, You'll find a couple of hours into the game. It allows you to scan enemies and friendlies and so forth, and everyone has different levels of scan. So you can see here the medical operator, you can only scan once. Once you scan it once, you know everything. You'll get a bit of a description, your notes on it, and then you'll also get, and this is the more important stuff, what they're weak to, what they're immune to. So you can see here the medical robot is weak to electric, EMP, explosives, and melee. They're completely immune to psychic abilities and to null wave. He can only be scanned once, like I said, but then you've got other stuff like the Etheric Phantom, which is one of the more humanoid enemies. You can see there, you have to scan 5 of them until you get all the info. I've scanned 3 so far. So I know that he's weak to Q-beams, he's got no immunities, and it revealed 3 powers from him that I've scanned so far. And that's about it. So just to wrap things up, I guess, we'll talk about, and I don't think there's one close by, so I'm just going to have to explain this to you guys. You'll get to safe areas usually, or sometimes you'll just find them scattered around, but you'll have recyclers and you'll get fabricators. Recyclers are what you use to drop your junk and anything you don't want to use into, and it will convert it into materials for the fabricator. So I've got here anyway, organic material, I've got exotic material, it's the cubes basically, mineral material, and down here I think these are synthetic materials. Every item can be recycled. So you see here this broken cooler fan I can recycle, and it'll tell you in the bottom right, and I'll move my camera again. Bottom right, it'll tell you right here how many materials you'll get for recycling this. So I think that's synthetic and that's mineral, but I could be wrong anyway. And then same thing here for this coil. If I recycle it, it'll give me this much. But you can also decide, I'm never going to use the pistol, so let me recycle the pistol, it'll give me that much. And let me recycle all the ammo. Sorry, pistol will give me this much. And then let me also recycle all the ammo, and then for the ammo, this is how much materials I'd get. Anything can be recycled. Some stuff, let me find one, like this, can be recycled, but you can also dismantle it for one spare part if you need spare parts. I don't really anymore because you can see here I've got 50 and then another stack of 5. And what you use those materials for is to put into the fabricator to use with your plans. So you see here I can make a wrench. The wrench would cost me 2 of the, I think that's mineral. I think that's organic, mineral, synthetic, and then exotic. I could be wrong. And everything has different values. So this would, medkit, if I want a medkit, it would cost me 2 organic, 1 mineral, 1 synthetic, and out comes a medkit. Right now I can make all this stuff. You can make weapons, which I don't really see the point of because there's no point in carrying around 2 pistols. Grenades are important. I can make suit repair kits, finally, which you can see my suit is very much damaged because you go through these things like crazy. Shotgun shells, and then you can even, if you have all these materials, it does cost a lot, but you can make a neuromod. What do you use a neuromod for? Well, that's exactly what you use to upgrade your powers. So, like, for example, the necropsy up here would cost me 4 neuromods. I currently have 0. But if I have enough materials, I can just make my 4 neuromods and get necropsy right now next time I hit a fabricator and a recycler. That is about it, to be honest with you guys. The game looks good. I don't know if it's coming across here because I am streaming from my Xbox to my PC and recording, and YouTube is compressing it on top of it, but it does look good. You can interact with a lot of stuff. You can search stuff, you can pick up anything if you have the, let's see, like these I can't, but like let's say here if I had leverage 3 I could pick up this big box here. I don't. but I can't even pick that one up because I only have leverage 1. So, yeah, see, here you can pick up items and just throw them. The more strength you have, the heavier things you can pick up, the further you can throw them, and you will even be able to throw stuff at enemies to do damage to them. Let's just try and wrap this up, but I keep thinking of more stuff. If you hold Y, that's your shortcut menu to switch between any weapon and grenade you have. Change your powers if you have multiple powers. Assign it to your D-pad shortcuts. So you can see there I've got the glue cannon, the shotgun, and the wrench. The flashlight is fixed there. This is also where you can just hold Y and press RT to use a med kit. I'm not going to right now. Or hold Y and press left trigger to get a hypo. If you have food, you hold Y and press RB to eat food, which doesn't really heal you. I usually recycle it to get organic materials. But yeah, that's about it. It is a great game. I am really enjoying it. I'm definitely going to be finishing this. I might even play through a second time and see about getting all the psi powers and see if it actually makes the game any kind of different, or if it changes the endings or what have you. But yeah, again, if you guys can find this for dirt cheap, please do. If you like BioShock and those kind of games, you will enjoy this. See here, keypad. I don't know what the password is, and it would need 2 hacking, which I don't have, so I can't open this right now. But if you find the password, you can always come back and open it. But yeah, I think we're gonna end this here. I'm sorry for the long video. It has been quite long, hasn't it? Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I convinced at least some of you to pick up one, if not both of these games. Again, if you guys want me to do a more in-depth of Watch Dogs 2, comment, and I will. I still have the game. I'm probably going to trade it in soon, so if you guys want to see that, let me know very soon, and I'll make a quick video. But like I said, it is basically just Grand Theft Auto with a bit of hacking. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll try and start making more videos. I've just been busy and just lacking ideas. But anyway, there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.